Good morning to the Morning Spike. This is the Nerd Huddle channel, where all us nerds from all the channels come together on Sundays, talk about fantasy football, football in general, and help you win your football team's Dynasty, IDP, and regular redraft. The NFL draft happened. We experienced quite a weekend. I was so wrong on some of my picks, but then I liked some of these picks. I was just shocked. I guess this entire draft I was just shocked. How about you? How did you feel?
Yeah, shocked's a good word. The first two picks I think were pretty straight. At least for me, I know you flipped them, but you had the same two first picks, and then after that, I was like, "Alrighty, I got nothing."
Yeah, it was
nothing after that. It was just crazy.
Weird. It was weird. Some guys fell a lot farther than what we thought.
Yeah, a lot farther.
I think my biggest one, that I'm kind of like shocked about is Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah,
that one yeah. He fell to the Ravens, I think at pick 16.
14.
Was it 14? What's up,
Washington?
Jimmy?
Washington had 16, and then I think there was another team before us.
Yeah, but still, good for them. I really didn't think he was going to fall that far. For Kyle Hamilton to go, I thought he was going to be out of the top 10, like for us. Kyle Hamilton, and then they ended up getting Tyler Linderbaum, and then they got David Njoku, and then they got Travis Jones, and then Falele. And then they ended with Charlie Kolar and Isaiah Likely.
Wait, the Ravens got Kolar?
Huh?
Then the Ravens got Kolar?
Yeah. So
back up for 19, Andrews.
119. So, or 128 and 139. They picked up two backup tight ends, Charlie Kolar and Isaiah Likely. And then
they got Likely too?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
funny.
They're not going to struggle at tight end.
No.
So, but then these guys are almost in the same tier, to where if one of them fails, then the other one might be able to produce. I think Isaiah Likely will be more of that offensive type, down the stretch type field guy, where they'll utilize Andrews closer to, or even Kolar closer to the goal line. So it's crazy, and I'm also shocked that he went down to the third. But you know what? Good for him. I'm glad that Tennessee picked him up. I'm happy that he's there. I think that's a very good fit. I think Tannehill is a decent enough veteran in order to teach him. He's not a horrible guy, or a horrible QB to where it's like, oh, you don't want to. Yeah, he had a crap year, but he's done pretty good for himself. So, how did you feel about Malik Willis going to the third?
Oh, I liked it. It's a spot where he can literally sit for 2-3 years, probably.
I think he'll sit for a year
before he'll. Well, I think it'll be at least 1 year before he even sniffs the field, and it could be 2 before he starts, which I think is good for him, because that'll give him some time to learn the system, learn what an NFL quarterback does.
Yeah.
And then I like Mike Vrabel as a head coach, so I think it's a good fit.
Yeah. It sucks for Tannehill in a way of sense that you now know that they're moving on probably after this season.
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a third-round pick, so.
I know.
I think he's under contract for at least 2 more years.
If he does pretty good and they put him in, I think he could potentially outplay him. Now,
he could. I'm not saying he couldn't, but I just don't think. I think it's a difference between a first and a second versus someone being drafted in the third. That's just my opinion.
No, okay.
Mariota, he better watch out.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably him. He has a better chance of losing his spot than anybody. I would think Mariota probably get benched quicker than anybody of the other QBs. Ritter actually has a highly likely chance, but so
Well, I'll say
Ryan
that, or
Tannehill,
maybe Darnold. But the only thing Darnold has going for him is that Matt Corral's hurt. So
yeah, um, yeah. So speaking of Tannehill, like it sucks for him, I guess, in a way. Not only did he lose his best receiver this weekend, now yes, we picked up Treylon Burks, is what they would probably think. Like, oh, we replaced him for someone cheaper. Ultimately, they don't have to exercise his 5th-year option, whatever, whatnot, which is fine, you know. But in a way of sense that you don't know that yet. I think it's funny that they replaced one big guy for another big guy. Seems like all the big guys that they drafted for Tennessee, they just left like they don't care about your talent or anything like that. You just feel like, are you a big dude? Yeah, sure, why not? Just come on, we'll work you out somehow, some way. So yeah, and then so he loses him. They get Treylon Burks with that pick, and then they draft Malik Willis in the 3rd. I can't remember who they picked up in the 2nd. I'll look that up right now, but yeah, I don't know. Let me see what that Titans draft real quick. Because with Treylon Burks being there, ultimately he's gonna be the number 1 guy. And then didn't they pick up a defensive tackle or something like that?
Was it a tackle? I don't know. I can't. I should probably have the draft up.
Yeah. But let me see. I can't remember who they picked up in the 2nd round. Tennessee. All right. So Ryan Tannehill, yeah, you're right. Has 2 more years. They picked up Roger McCreary, a corner. It was a corner, and then they went.
I knew it was defense. But I couldn't remember what position.
McCreary, he's not bad. Good draft pick. Not entirely, horrible. I think he's all right. He's a corner out of Auburn. Did pretty good. Here's what's interesting to me is who they got. They got Hassan Haskins. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's Michigan. A pretty big.
Oh yeah, running back. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy, man. So they're definitely gonna impact the run game with him or Henry. So Haskins might actually be next guy up.
Yeah, they got another receiver too with the 5th, Kyle Phillips from UCLA.
The receiver?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Kyle Phillips? Is that like after the draft, like free agent?
No, round 5, number 163.
I guess I missed that. I see Aquanu, the tight end, Theo Jackson.
Yeah, then above
Chance
that.
Campbell. So they got someone in the 5th then?
In between Theo and Aquanu, the tight end, in between those two. They had 2, for their 5th, 6th. Oh, yeah,
who was the receiver?
Kyle Phillips from UCLA.
Okay. All right. I don't know. It was
weird.
very
Yours
interesting.
Doesn't have that.
Yeah, no, I don't have that either. I don't have it here. But it's crazy how I don't know. Like even the loss of Julio Jones really didn't impact it. It's not like Julio Jones did anything there.
Right.
So I don't know. Let's talk but I guess the Colts, I wanted to kind of talk about them. They're basically already established. They're basically kind of a team that we already know what's going to happen. With Matt Ryan there, they honestly just probably needed a few fixture-up pieces, but I think they had a pretty decent, good draft as well. They got Alex Pierce in there in the 2nd round. They didn't have their first because of the Wentz trade, which we'll get into the Commanders here in a bit, because I know you might want to touch up on that as well. they had a interesting weekend as well. So I see that they got Alex Pierce, which is good fit out of Cincinnati. Then they got Jelani Woods, who I love, out of the BCU College Bowl game.
From
You haven't checked it
Virginia.
out, Jelani? What's up?
From University of Virginia. I was just saying where he's from.
Oh, Jelani Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did pretty good in the BCU game, which is the all black college universities. So it's not so much of a Senior Bowl type, but it is a game that they play afterwards. They play yearly. So if you want to check out Jelani Woods during game two, that's during that time. And then Raymond, they got him in the third, which is pretty good. And then they've picked up a safety, Nick Cross,
from Maryland,
also pretty good, yeah. And then Eric Johnson, defensive tackle, and then they got Ogletree out of Youngstown State, a tight end. So the first four picks to me, for being that many picks in the third, were pretty good. I like that. Nick Cross, Raymond, and Woods, and then Pierce. So it wasn't ultimately too bad. But it just, I think that they're going to be established. With the loss of Wentz, trading him, and then getting up Matt Ryan, you'll see.
That was the only knock that I saw on their whole draft, was that they didn't have a first rounder because of a player that they don't even have anymore.
Yeah. Well, and that's what that sucks.
Knock. Yeah.
I mean, they like, what's his face? Frank spent his time with him in Philly. I guess it didn't work out, and it wasn't even Frank's decision to get rid of him. From what I heard, it was just the staff didn't want him there. This is it for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan needs to win now. Now, if he decides to play until he's 40, that's going to be like at least 3 years. He's going to turn 37 here next month. I know this because, well, I've known him for 14 years on my team. So his birthday's this month. Well, actually, today's May 1st. So, but yeah, and yeah, Chiefs got defense now. Yes, I would say you probably do. Yeah, and God damn it, Legion of Lay That Wood. Okay. But I don't think they had
Nick
any
Bolton.
signings.
I'm expecting big things from that guy this year.
Nick Bolton, I would hope so. The one Chiefs, I guess nothing crazy. They signed a 1-year deal with Anthony Gordon. Not he's just a backup QB, nothing really. So I mean, the draft, and we could talk about them there real quick though. The draft for the Chiefs. Let's see. Let me get that up real quick. But let's see. I am looking here.
So they got Trent McDuffie from Washington, cornerback.
Okay.
Who we like in the first round, and then they're traded back up in the first round to get a guy that we actually really, really like from Purdue, George Karloff. How do you say his name? I always call it
Karlaftis.
Karlaftis.
Yeah. So you say Karlaftis, but it's Karlaftis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
George Karlaftis.
I've noticed
we like
you
a
do
lot.
that a lot.
So that was two solid picks. And then they got a receiver, Skye Moore from Western Michigan. And then they got Brian Cooks, a safety from Cincinnati. Leo Chanel, linebacker from Wisconsin, who we also like.
That's who I'm excited for.
Yeah, that's.
I'm excited for him.
They had to replace Gay. I didn't know Gay left.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that either.
At least that's what I thought. I could be wrong.
That's interesting. I'm excited for Leo Chanel. If you check out Dynasty Pylon, Hefe, we have a clip of him. We did a little review. I like the way he plays. I like the way he attacks the ball. Not so much of a coverage guy, but if Nick Bolton can draw back and then Leo Chanel can go after it, I absolutely love him. If they could probably switch over to,
he's still there, I guess.
Is he still there?
So they're just bolstering their linebacking core, which is still good.
I mean, I cannot pull up my stats right now. Jesus, it's not working right now.
And then they got another corner, Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State. Then they got an offensive lineman, Darian Kennard from Kentucky. And another corner from Washington State, Jalen Watson. Then a running back from Rutgers. Hey, Grizzly Bear.
Brian here.
Yeah, he just popped in. Isaiah Paecho. Probably butchered that name. And then Aziz Johnson, another state. So they got a lot of secondary help in this draft. 3 corners and 2 safeties.
I cannot pick it up right now. There we go. That's the one. All right, so
it wasn't working.
Trent McDuffie, right, and George Karlaftis, Skye Moore. I like Skye Moore being there. Skye Moore is going to be pretty decent. I think he'll make that impact play. He'll definitely hop out with Juju. It's gonna throw it off. Skye Moore is a really quick guy. It's gonna throw off their game, defensive games, because he's quick, and then Juju's, well, we know what Juju can do, and now he has a QB. I think we see the old Juju of his rookie year. But Brian Cook, yeah, he's all right. Leo Chanel, again, I'm excited for, and for them to pick him up in the 3rd is just awesome. But Joshua Williams, he's okay out of Fayetteville State. It's going to be interesting. I don't know about these last picks, 5th and then the 7th round. Kind of scrubs to me. I don't know if they'll actually make it onto the team, but we'll see. Maybe Jalen Watson. But I think that with Juju Smith-Schuster being there and Skye Moore, yeah, they lost Tyreek Hill and Brian Pringle to the Bears, but I think they'll be just fine. I was just hoping that they probably would have done something with that line, just maybe one piece to it, which they didn't really do much. But regardless of the fact, I still think that I think the Chiefs are going to be just fine. They're going to contend for this year, I think. I mean, I don't think the loss of Tyreek Hill is going to do much of an impact. I think they'll be just fine.
Well, I think they'll contend, but that division's still going to be nasty.
Yeah,
you got the Bills there hanging around. You know they're gonna, or not the Bills. I'm sorry, the Bills are gonna take over that entire division, in my opinion. But you got the Raiders and the Chargers, and I love what the Chargers did. By the way, before I dive there, Brian, do you have anything quick? I know you just got here, so you want to get some off your.
I think KC did okay. I think KC actually did okay. Getting George. Was it Karlaftis, whatever, from is that Purdue, whatever? I think that was good because they definitely need that type of help. You know, the secondary was suspect, so they need to do, especially in that division with all the receivers there that you're going to see. You need to get better there. O-line, I would like to see them get some interior help, but they were okay. They were okay last year, so I'm not too bad. I'm more worried about depth. As far as receiver goes, I think they're going to be fine anyway. And they get Skye Moore just a steal because Skye Moore is a first-round talent.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be great.
Yeah, I think they'll be just fine. The D-line does need help. Yeah, you're right. But, with Leo Chanel there, they could probably put him at the end. He's capable of playing it. So I think they'll be all fine. So let's talk about that division. That division has Chargers in it. Their first 3 picks I like, but the rest is just maybe 4. My bad. The first 4, I don't know. Zion Johnson was in the first. Great pick. I love that pick. Let's get Herbert some protection there. And I think Hefe's going to hate this entire segment right now because we're talking about other teams in his division, but hey. It is what. Look, Zion Johnson out of Boston College, really great pick. Herbert needs more protection, even though he already has great protection. Let's get him a better guy, and let's make that a solid protection now. And then they didn't have a second, and then the 3rd round they picked up JT Woods, a safety out of Baylor, pretty decent safety as well. I kind of liked him between him and Brisker. And I know Brisker is fairly new to us that we just kind of discovered last week, but Brisker fell to you guys, which by the way is a great pick. But Woods is just as good and same. And then here's what got interesting to me. in the 4th round, which is just crazy to me. I'm surprised he even fell. Is Isaiah Spiller.
I think that's a great pick.
I love Isaiah Spiller there.
Oh, okay.
People might hate that. People might hate that, and people might be like, well, why did they do that? Well, they have Austin Eckler. Why do they need another running back? Why do they need another stellar running back? Austin Eckler is about to be 26, 27 years old. Now, the shelf life of running back isn't that high.
Yep.
So what does that mean? I think the Chargers are probably going to move on probably in the next 2-3 seasons, because Eckler still is on that 4-year, 5-year contract that he just re-signed 2 years ago. So he probably has about two more years going.
Yep.
I think with both of these guys in the backfield, with what's his face, Joshua, who's the other running back?
Jackson.
Thank you. Yeah. I think that's going to be a 3-headed monster back there. I know Jackson isn't that great that everyone rely on, but if he's given the ball, he'll do something with it. But just not immaculate numbers. And I'm a fan of all NFL teams. I don't know about that. Sometimes we talk about certain teams and you get mad. But yeah, no. But yeah, no. And Denver is going to be nasty. Yeah, we'll get to that too. But overall, I think what the Chargers did is they picked for depth and they picked for need. They didn't necessarily go after value. I can't wait till Tuesday because I'm going to jump in with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to try avoid Bears as much as I can today because I don't want to be
because I didn't understand what the hell we were doing. We have 11 picks. I was like,
I understand what you guys were doing.
I know exactly.
I understand what you guys
filling out the roster because he needed to fill out the roster.
Yeah. So Tuesday we'll talk more about the Bears. I see where they were going. I disagree and agree with some of the picks, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then they filled up a defensive tackle on the Chargers. Tito Agabonina. It's a mouthful. He is out of UCLA, but he's pretty good too. So and then Salier, who fell all the way to the 6th round, they picked up another guard. So that was a steal right there, in my opinion. So not bad.
They drafted a fullback?
Yes,
fullbacks.
The 7th round.
I know.
7th round.
I just was like fullback.
Xander Harvath at Purdue. So interesting to see there. So yeah, that was the Chargers. I think, like I said, that they're going to be fine. They have Rashawn Slater there from last year, who's pretty good, 1st rounder. Definitely going to improve, everything that they have there. So
they already did so much during free agency, and with a good team, adding all you add on for free agency, and then having a decent draft. Yeah, that's just nasty. And Jason Jackson, that's just so much to your defense. That just does so much in itself. Now you just need to get guys for special teams that are going to play hard.
Yeah.
Fill out your team, make sure you got some good guys, some young guys that are going to go out there and do stupid stuff and run down the field and dive and hit someone.
Right. So it's good. It's good that they did. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are going to be one of the most crazy duos that we might see in the NFL this season. I'm excited to see what they do. It's definitely going to give a run at Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, and Russell Wilson. But I don't think so. Here's what I'm thinking. Russell Wilson isn't going to have an issue with this. He's been attacked his whole life. I think Russell Wilson will probably be pretty used to it.
He had a good offensive line 1 year, and that was when he was in Wisconsin. Besides that,
I think Russell Wilson will probably be if not top QB in that division, or if not second, tied with one of these guys. Easily one of these guys in this division: Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, and Russell Wilson. And people were like, "Oh, not Derek Carr." No, why would Derek Carr be?
I love Derek Carr.
Why would Derek Carr be one of the top guys? Well, here's why. They just made one of the biggest moves in NFL history with getting the best receiver. You don't see that. That's some like fantasy football stuff. You don't see the biggest name in the game get traded because all of a sudden some emotional damage that the Packers are giving him. Okay. And if I had the cue of the emotional damage, I would probably play it right now. But it's I don't know what exactly how it was. I know it was a money issue, it was a disrespect issue, and yes, people say he took less money, but it was the initial intent that they didn't give him what he wanted at first. So he felt some type of way.
I would too. I mean, Aaron Rodgers said, "Hey, let's go get our money. I'm gonna get my money. I want you to get your money. I'm gonna leave enough on the table for you to get whatever. You be the highest paid receiver." And then they didn't leave enough on the table for him to get his money.
Yeah,
everyone's getting cut off the team, and it's like, okay, well, we offer the same thing as the Raiders, but I've been with you. You've had 7 years of me, and you know that. You know what I'm gonna give you. So now I'm gonna go back to my college quarterback, and I'm gonna create some great stuff with the second best tight end in the game over there already. They have good depth at receiver. I always like Josh Jacobs. So I mean, Derek Carr's gonna have a stacked team. He has no excuses.
Which, by the way, Josh Jacobs, the team declined his 5th-year option. By the way,
no, that's really, I didn't know
FYI,
that.
Yeah, they declined it as of yesterday. No, sorry, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, Josh Jacobs, team declined his 5th-year option.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Jonathan Abram, they declined his 5th-year option as well.
Interesting.
So, FYI, so we might see him on the move here next season.
You can see extensions too, though. I mean, you never know.
Yeah,
but Jacobs is older, so I mean, I'm not older, but in running back years, he's like 40. He might be only 27, 28, but that's like towards the end of everything. So I mean, that's probably smart to not, hit your wagon to something that might fall apart.
Yeah, I agree. They might end up getting someone here pretty soon. I would not be surprised. They usually somehow always had a running back there. Usually, that's one thing about the Raiders that I've always been happy about, is they normally establish a running back there. So it's that's what I like about that. Did we see these right here? DC isn't Rodgers, so I say Adams dropped a lot.
I don't know. Derek Carr has
what they did at Fresno is different from what
exactly. You have to remember that they had that connection already too. And
it'll take them the summer. They'll be back.
Yeah.
Kicking the balls to Waller.
It's funny that the demand to trade, because the original Packers trade for Devontae Adams, Waller was in it.
Really?
But they had to take him out because you can't trade a franchise tag player for a player on a rookie contract. So they said the NFL would veto it, so they had to take him out.
Interesting. So Hefe says it's kicking the balls to Waller. Why? I don't think so.
Good.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think if anything, I think Waller, either one of these guys is going to produce more than the other. And I think Waller might actually be the one who actually still produces. Derek Carr has been playing him the last couple seasons. He loves Derek Waller.
Oh, I think there's plenty of examples where you've seen like multiple people excel on one offense. So I don't think it's Kansas City. I remember the Greatest Show on Turf back in the 90s, early 2000s with Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and Marshall Faulk, all receiving the over 1,000 yards receiving, all three of them. It could be done.
You have a tight end and an outside receiver, a receiver that is going to make plays too. They can't double team Waller. Waller got bracketed 12 games last year. I mean, all the games he played, he was getting bracketed. So you can't do that with Devontae Adams on the other side. You can do it with Hunter Renfrow, but with Devontae Adams, you can't. So, it just makes no sense to, I think Waller's going to have a career year, and they're going to have to sign him to a big contract now or trade him because
But here's also the thing. Bisaccia led them to the playoffs. Okay. And I was on Bisaccia. Bisaccia is still there, but Josh McDaniels is now going to take over offense. So which means that Bisaccia can now focus on what he does best in all defense, which now that defense is what was his main there, but he had to step in
He was
for
a special teams coach. He wasn't defense.
Was it? No.
Yeah, he was special teams.
I thought it was defense as well. Well, regardless of the fact
he-
that either way, Josh McDaniels is still there. That's going to be really good for both all these pieces: Waller, Jacobs, Adams, Carr.
Oh, the Sasha's in Green Bay.
Did he? Did he really leave?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah, they're all telling you right now. Look at that.
Oh
It's all
my
coming in.
god.
Sasha's in Green Bay.
Well, thank you. That sucks. All right. Well, look, players news is a lot better than what I do know coaches. But all right. Well, thank you guys. That's interesting.
When we are talking about the Raiders, what do you think about them not getting? Well, I guess you got Parham.
Parham and yeah, and I was going to get to the draft with Parham. I think that's fine. I think.
You think he takes over for Leatherwood because Leatherwood was just that big of a miss last year?
I think they move him. I think they move him. It was a bad one, but now with Parham being there in the third, I mean they didn't have a first, they didn't have a second, obviously because of the trade. But for them to get Parham in the third, I think is probably pretty good. And like I said, they made some moves with the whole Chandler Jones with Ngakoue thing. That was all right. That was pretty good. I like that. And then Max Crosby, and then Hunter Renfrow and Brian Edwards. That they're still there. I think they re-signed. I think Max Crosby or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Regardless of the fact, in the fourth round, if you don't know who he is, it's fine. But the running back out of Georgia, Zamir White, played 50% of the snaps there next to James Cook. Everyone was infatuated that James Cook was in, and he was playing, and he was the little brother of Cook. But Leatherwood is gone. Okay.
Yeah. Well. No, he's not gone. He's still on the team, so I don't know. You just saying they're going to get rid of him, I'm guessing.
Probably, I don't know. But
he's 23 years old. He's 6'5", 315 pounds. I don't see you getting rid of him. I see you
talking about Parham or
Leatherwood.
Leatherwood? Oh.
Yeah. Well, I told Aaron, who's a Raiders fan, I said the best thing you guys could have ever done with your first round pick is trade it away.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys are so bad at drafting first round picks.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Like, what is it, like 3 years ago? They got Ruggs and that corner who are both gone. Last year was Leatherwood. He's gone, basically. Like, you guys just.
No, I think you move Leatherwood back to right tackle and you see what he can do at right tackle. Because he's not a guard. He's not fleet of foot enough for a guard, and at least right tackle, you don't have to worry about, the best rushers coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you move that over.
Said Cook was pissed to go to Buffalo.
Hey,
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I think these were all yesterday, right? Or the second day? So the second day I missed it due to homework.
Yeah.
And hockey. Although hockey, it was pretty much over by the time hockey started.
Well, I had exams and tests in school. I want to be smart, I guess.
I think Jameson was pissed to go to Detroit, though.
Again, I didn't get to see their reaction or these, which I'll probably end up watching throughout the week. I'm just gonna leave NFL Network on and just glance over. They'll probably do the replay. I didn't see their initial reaction.
I thought it was a great move.
I think it's a fine move there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the best.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Mark.
I think the best reaction, even though it was like an accident, though, was when Sauce Gardner got announced and he went the wrong direction and it looked like he was leaving.
Oh, really?
Like, oh, you're going to the Jets. He's like, bye. He was supposed to go right and he went left.
No,
to like a corner, and they're like, no, you got to go that way. And then he like started running down the thing.
I was like, he started running, like,
yeah. Well, because he was lost, and he's like, oh crap, I got to get up there now. When everyone was like, "Oh, got drafted by the Jets," he was like, "I'm out." It's like all the memes the next day. I was like, "Oh, that's funny."
Oh my gosh. So Jameson, let's talk about. Let me get the Detroit lines in here somewhere.
Who do you think had the best draft for you guys overall?
Say what?
Who do you think had the best draft for you guys?
For me, it's going to be the Jets or the Ravens.
The Ravens were unbelievable in the fourth round.
Ravens had a really good draft.
What are you doing? They just got
Yeah.
everybody. It's like and the next pick is the Ravens, and they're gonna pick everyone left.
Like I said, with the Ravens, and I think you weren't on yet, but I was kind of like talking about the Ravens, like really like a lot, like what they did, how lucky they ended up getting certain people there. It was pretty interesting to see how well they did, and they were just really lucky that these players that just fell to them. And I forgot who they ended up getting, and I just announced it too.
But
Well, they got Sauce Gardner.
Who gives Hollywood Brown a first round pick, a trade for a first round pick? What?
Yeah,
How?
Braden was actually saying this. You know, they gave up more for Hollywood Brown than they did DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
crazy
what
is
is
that?
going on?
He was like, we didn't even give up a first. We gave up a second and an aging running back for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
like I
God,
said,
I forgot about that.
The Ravens did really great, and they just got really lucky that these guys would just fall into their laps. See, Hamilton was obvious their first. Did not expect him to go all the way to the 14th, right? And then they ended with Tyler Linderbaum,
which I think that's still.
Yeah, David Ojabu, who at the time I was doing homework or whatever. I thought he went to the Lions because he was the pick just before them, and then I looked again. I was like, oh crap, it's the Ravens. That's an excellent pick. Yeah, he won't be available at the time, but it's fine.
It doesn't.
Travis Jones, another defensive tackle. Falele, we all love here on this show.
Yep.
And then I think it's going to be, and then Charlie Kolar and Isaiah Likely, two really good, decent tight ends. Hopefully, one of them. I don't think Charlie Kolar will be anything. I think Isaiah Likely will outbeat him. I know you like Kolar for some reason,
but I think it's going to be because he's going to do other stuff. Like he's going to play special teams. He's going to block. He's going to be tough.
Well, that's what I said. He's going to open that run game.
Yeah. You got an extra tackle out there that can also go out there and catch a ball. I don't understand them getting another punter.
Oh, the punter part? Yeah, I'm looking at a new. The last one I had didn't show that.
But you have the greatest punter of all time, right? Or a kicker, I guess.
Kicker? Yeah, I'm like, that's a different position, though, bro.
Yeah,
but for a fourth round for a punter?
That was a little high.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't even what's his face. Isaiah.
He went to the Bills.
I know.
I was like, he's never gonna need it. He's never gonna be used.
You never know.
Just in case.
And Tommy says, I felt that Murray will do like Carr and get his number one from.
It seems to be like a growing trend.
I think
here
that's
in
why
the
they
NFL.
did it. A first and a third is not bad for Marquis Brown. He's still young. He's still young, and then they're going to get him. Look, if you're not convinced that Marquis Brown is good, then I don't know what you're smoking because he's still good. He had one bad year, and then
he worth
last year.
Or third.
Okay, first and the third. He's how old is he?
But he was a first round pick.
Yeah,
and he's still young. I mean, I don't think it's horrible.
I think it was just fine. I think a first and the third is just fine.
Just goes to show that Bill O'Brien has no idea what he's doing.
Well, Bill O'Brien was an idiot. All right, and then Burrows, Chase, same type thing, and then Dean falling down. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that was.
We'll talk about the Eagles.
Stupid Eagles, yeah. Well, he brought him up here too. He said because the other two teams I was going to say were I hate to say it, but the Eagles and freaking Giants, man.
Yeah, Giants had a great draft, and the Eagles, the steal of the draft, might be the best defensive player in the draft, and the
right.
We
had Fletcher Cox for like 7 or 8 years. Now I got to deal with Jordan Davis for another 7 or 8 years. Like ridiculous. And then they got Kobe Dean. And then they got Nakobe Dean. I was like,
I don't think Jordan Davis is that great. I still don't like him.
Yeah, but you know what he is if you have a great middle linebacker, he's going to eat people up, or he's going to eat space up, and allows your middle linebacker to go and make plays. Makes your defense better because you got to have two people on him.
And he gets to learn from Fletcher Cox. Like, great.
Come on.
Only like one of the best defensive tackles ever.
But yeah, here's that though. When we talk about Marquis Brown.
Oh, yep.
He'll open it up. And yeah, I think it will
definitely.
be I think it'll be great. But I did want to talk about Hefe and the Lions. I wanted to talk about the Lions too. You know,
a good draft.
What's up?
They had a really good draft.
I think they did too.
Are they all in on Goff? Because they didn't get a quarterback.
I said this, that they were going to stick with Goff another year. I think they were going to. I think they were going to stick it out another year with Goff. You know, all that money has to go somewhere. You're not going to have him on the bench. I think they're going to still end up with him for another season. If you do horrible, then you deal with it next season. Like if you have the number 1 draft pick next season, well, guess what? You're gonna get yourself a QB or something. We'll see.
Exactly.
You know,
we're gonna fight him for that.
Bryce Young is gonna be entering the draft, so I think it'll be just fine. I think their entire draft of the Detroit Lions was great. Aiden Hutchinson still to me is the best DN in the game. I don't care what Trayvon Walker is. I don't think Trayvon Walker's good. I just don't know if it's going to be the same. There was a lot of great talent on Georgia that opened it up for him. Now, if you put him where the Jaguars, him and Josh Allen should do good together, but the defensive interior lineman on the Jags, I think that still need work, doesn't it? If you don't have defensive tackle that works with your DN, then that might be an issue. I'll see. I have to see it first because I think he might be. What is he? 6'2", 6'3"?
Which one?
Trayvon Walker.
Trayvon Walker.
He's like
6'3". Yeah, I think 6'3".
Okay. I don't know. I feel like a good. I don't know. It's going to be interesting for me. I need to see it.
Oh,
I
wow.
still think Aiden Hutchinson is better than him.
Trayvon Walker 6'5". I think Aiden Hutchinson is a safe pick. He's a safe guy.
I don't
know. He's
better.
Jared Allen. He's a good guy who's gonna get you between 8 and 12 sacks every year, consistent.
And I'm not arguing that. That's great. I would take that over any risk. I would take that over anybody.
But you know, if you're going to go for a risk, you go for a guy who could get you 15, that could get you 16. You know,
could.
I think
could.
It's good. Yeah, it's
not as good as I know. I would rather have the I know than the could. Because if there's the could, well, then if he's having a horrible year, then I rather know. I know that I'm going to get my 12 rather than I could get my 15. Or I could end up with 3.
You could be a guy who's 8, you know, or you're going to be a guy who can always get to 17. That's unblockable. You just don't know how he's going to perform in the league. Sometimes you do draft a little bit on how good it could be, you know. But don't get me wrong, Hutchinson could also play the run really well. So I mean, it's a safe, good pick. It's not a bad pick by any means, but there are going to be other guys in this draft that are better defensive players.
Hutchinson to me going to Detroit Lions is a really good pick. And then they circle back around, go to offense with Jameson Williams. I think is going to be a fantastic pick for him.
I didn't know he's going to be ready this year.
He probably won't, but
they say he's going to be ready. But
he may be midway. That's. I mean, look, the way these ACLs are going, it's weird.
Yeah, they're saying something like by right before the season he's going to be ready, and then they might still hold him out. Some
of these young guys have a 6-month turnaround, which is insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I mean, yeah, but we saw what St. Brown can do, you know, and then with T.J. Hawkinson fully healthy, being back, he's not walking around with 9 fingers, and he'll be back and he'll have them all. Hopefully, he can catch because Hutchinson is needed big time. And then Swift and Williams, great duo in my opinion. Not the best, but again, it's a very safe line that you know what you're gonna get. They can get it done. The Lions, in my opinion, and I know Brian, you're gonna hate this because you woke up as a hater today. Look, the Lions will do good. Yeah, hate. Look, the Lions will turn it around in the next couple of seasons. And I know you're not convinced because this whole history of whatever 20 years, whatnot. Look,
they ruined
it's happening. Look at the Bengals. Look at the Bengals.
Three of the three Hall of Famers, three of the greatest players of all time have ruined their lives and careers.
But they weren't there at the same time. Not entirely.
Stafford and Megatron were.
It's true.
Okay,
that's the entire time. They were.
Who were your three?
I'm with them more Barry Sanders. I mean, I feel like they wasted that entire.
So you're saying Barry Sanders, Stafford, and Megatron is your three?
Not all three of them were the same. Okay, but they ruined three great player careers just because of the Lions.
Who's your three?
I believe Stafford. I think Stafford, Megatron, and I'm talking about Barry Sanders.
Okay, so Stafford had no line, so it was just a toss up. If Megatron wasn't as big as he was, I don't think any of those would be able to be possible. Barry Sanders, obviously, with the fact that he was just a phenomenal player.
No, they just ruined him.
He's not ruined. He just won a fucking Super Bowl. You can't say that's ruined. Right. Ruin would be him retiring there and he's gone. He's never come back.
Years of his career, right.
Well, they hadn't traded him. He would have been ruined.
Yeah, wasted 12 years of his career. You're right. Okay. Someone else got him and say, "Oh, look, he's good."
No, and you're absolutely right. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think I just think that the Lions are going to turn it around here soon. Yeah, it's not going to be this year. It could be next year. But I think that the moves that they've been making is improving slightly in the better direction. That I think that they just need. I think next year is the QB position is going to be a very needed position for them next season.
They have to have one. Mm-hmm.
I think that they'll like even what Tommy said. They potentially get 6 weeks, six games.
We're going to be battling up for 6 wins.
But what they were losing was only by a single field goal last season. Mm-hmm. Not many teams can be saying that they lost.
Yeah, but they keep watching these games because really what happened was they're getting blown out and they just didn't quit. Another team was like, "It's Detroit, whatever," and then they came back a little bit closer, and then the other team was like, "Oh crap, you close," and then they end up losing the game. It's not like they were like neck and neck with these teams the entire time. No, they get blown out by 15, 20 points, and then they come back. That's what they were doing. So they still have a lot to go. They have a great offensive line. They have pretty good running backs, but they always got someone's hurt as far as those running backs. Good receivers. I think Jameson said he's going to be ready for training camp. So that's huge. Ready for training camp is nuts.
That's nuts. Yeah, it is nuts. Yeah, it's like 8 months from his injury.
Yeah. Their defense is tough, but they don't have a lot of talent. So, I mean, Hutchinson's going to definitely help their line and their run game, honestly. That's going to be good. But they still have some holes. They have holes at safety. They still have their linebackers are not great. You know, the middle of the field is not great. They don't have shutdown corners.
They just re-signed Tracy Walker, though, too.
That's true. So, see how it goes together. But once again, it's Detroit. You know, so, and then also people don't want to go to Detroit. So when you have these great star free agents, they don't want to go to Detroit.
What's your over-under on Detroit?
6 or 7 wins.
Okay.
Spike.
And I say they probably win more games than the Bears, honestly.
Okay.
I'm not arguing with that. Division with Green Bay Packers.
I'm not arguing with that.
And Minnesota had a great game. A great.
Yes, they did.
So
we can move on to the Minnesota Lions or the Minnesota and lead Lions, or we can go to the Eagles and finish off that entire division. So we talked about Raiders and Chiefs. Did we talk about the Broncos? We didn't talk about the Broncos, did we? Look, we can leave. We can skip that one. I don't care, regardless of the fact.
Because they didn't do nothing crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did mention Minnesota. Lewis signed. They must needed safety.
Vikings need to get rid of Cousins.
Maybe. I don't know. He's too average.
Kellen Mond.
To hate on. Say what?
I said Kellen Mond time.
I don't know. I don't know. The guy is good enough to stay there, but he's not anything exciting.
He's a backup. He's a backup guy. You know what? I was surprised that Minnesota wasn't one of those teams that jumped up and got one of these quarterbacks that were falling like crazy. I was really surprised. I mean, that would have been. You have your quarterback already there, so grab someone, and develop him, and in 2 years, kick Cousins out to the curb, and you got the guy. This was a year to do that. I was fearful because I thought that's what was going to happen. I thought they would be smart, go grab a guy, and be ready.
I think they give Keelan Mond a chance. I think Keelan Mond might end up having a chance this season. But defensively, they did fine in the draft. Somehow they ended up with Andrew Booth in the second, which was a great pick. We predicted him to go to the first, cornerback out of Clemson. With their first, they ended up getting Lewis Klein, signed, safety out of Georgia, really good safety. Then they ended up getting a guard, Ed Ingram out of LSU, not too bad. Brian Asamoah, linebacker, fell to them in the third.
Yep,
I like him too. Yep.
So
linebacker, I like him.
That was interesting to see. Then they went with Caleb Evans out of Missouri, another good DB. So that stood out to me. So I don't know if this was a good move or not to switch out Kirk Cousins now, because you know what you're going to get. You know that you have that 15 to 17 type of range.
You don't switch him out now. You draft the guy now.
And I think that's what Keelan Mond was last season.
But he's not good. Like that's what you want.
Nobody knows him though, and that I don't think that's the issue. And these year's QBs were probably not going to be the. I don't think that they wanted to get the new QB of the future. I think they wanted to get the new QB feature of next year's draft. I don't think that these QBs would have been the face of what they wanted, and I think that's why they did not go up. They went defense first 2 rounds.
So
which to me that means that they want to focus on a good defense before they go on offense, because they got a guard. Like their first 6-7 picks were all defense. Mm-hmm. They grabbed one offense guy and that's it. So I think that they want to establish and build that defense, get the defense to where they need to be. The following year, I would not be surprised if they go after a QB and a few offensive pieces, because offense, you have Irv Smith who's coming back, who we all know, who we've seen him do pretty good. We know he can do pretty good, but we haven't seen it on the field yet. Besides from what we know from film, they re-signed Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter. So like I said, I think with all these defensive moves, I think they want to establish their defense first. Next year, it would not surprise me if they focus all offense. And I think with Mon being behind Cousins, there you go. I think it's an okay, decent move, because Keelan Mond actually did pretty good at the Senior Bowl, and I was actually impressed. Mm-hmm. Me and Mark actually like Keelan Mond, but nobody knows about it.
I think he would have been at least the number 2 quarterback in this draft if he came out in this draft.
Keelan Mond, if he with these QBs, maybe, and that's the problem. Nobody knows who he is, because last year's QBs were too good for him to even shine.
Exactly. Here's the problem I have with Mond. I feel like his accuracy wasn't great. And when you don't have elite, well, I mean, looking at when he went college, I mean, because I did a whole market because I didn't know we were with Justin Fields, so I was going through all the quarterbacks last year, like you figure out who's what, and I didn't feel like his accuracy was great. I think his deep ball was great, and I feel like those are the 2 things that you really need to be successful in the NFL. It's possible, I don't see. I think you need upside when you have someone who's good. Kirk Cousins, I hate Kirk Cousins, but we already know what I feel like he's never going to be bad. He's never going to be bad. When you have that guy, and he's a professional. That's when you get a project guy. That's when you get a guy. I don't see next year.
Their project guy is Mond.
That's
their project guy.
He can sit there behind Cousins for 2 to 3 years, and then he should be ready to take over. I don't think
he's ever going to be the guy. But we'll see.
He might not ever be number one guy, but if there's a possibility that this is the year that Mond actually established himself, and if Kirk Cousins goes down, which he doesn't have a really big history of getting injured,
he won't get hurt. Kirk Cousins he throws the ball away. That's the one thing you can say. He's not stupid. He's really smart, and that's what I like about him. But you got to have some physical ability too. And I don't know. We'll see. I hope he's terrible.
I don't know. We still have to see it. Yeah. But I think Keelan Mond is just fine. I think this is why they didn't go any offense at all.
I hope he is right. I hope he is good.
Well, Tommy's on our side too. You're just being angry, man. You can go get some coffee, bro. You came in here all hot and heated. Look, just because you picked up. Look, I know you want to talk about your Bears. I know you want to talk about your Bears.
I watch all these guys all the time.
Just because the Bears
is my division.
Did horrible.
This is my division. This is what I do.
Don't mean you come in here.
And I'm telling you guys that they should have went and got Matt Corral, and that's what they should have done.
No,
I don't care.
No.
Yes.
No. Look, even Tommy agrees that he should have went 2 or 3 if he was in this year's draft class.
That's not even saying anything. Who went 1?
Pickett?
Willis
fell to the 3rd. I'm telling you, he would have been in there somewhere.
Yo, he would have.
You're telling me that he's just as good.
But Willis is not about. It's about Willis. Is about his potential. Once again, it's potential. You grab someone who has high ceiling. Here's my problem with Pickett. Even going because right now, basically, you're saying even if Pickett's good, we're going to have the 4th best quarterback in our division. That's just how they're telling you about it. No matter what happens, all we're going to have is the 4th best quarterback in our division. You need someone a high ceiling. That's my point. You need to get someone who has the ability to be a high ceiling. If you're looking at, I guess our division, if Aaron Rodgers ever goes, you never know what's going to happen. That kind of was one thing. But I think Justin Fields is going to be better. I think Detroit's going to get a top 5 pick next year. So you're telling us that you're okay with having the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in your division. Immediately.
I think all these guys are just equally about the same tier. I don't think Pickett was probably Pickett. In my honest opinion, I think Sam Howell was the best one. And even though I really think Sam Howell is going to turn heads. And the fact that he went to Washington, I think that's a really great pick for him.
Oh, a lot of people were saying it was a steal of the draft.
It's a great pick. Don't get me wrong.
And people are like, oh, well, Sam Howell's not the worst one. I'm like, it's all 5 of these guys they're all in the same tier for me.
No, but they're different. They're different type of quarterbacks. I mean, as I said,
yeah, but they're in the same tier.
Unbelievable athletic ability, unbelievable arm. So his possibility of being great is higher. You know what I'm saying? So Kenny Pickett, he's going to be Kenny Pickett's going to come in ready. He's going to be steady. Okay, guy. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to rely on him, but he's never going to be great.
I'm so worried about Pickett right now.
He's never going to be great. That's just not who he is.
I am worried for Pickett. So
I would rather go get a guy who's going to give me the opportunity to at least have the 2nd or 1st best guy in my division. I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket for a guy who doesn't have the potential to be in that.
We'll see.
Mitch is
I agree. I think Mitch is going to start.
Mitch is starting. Mitch is starting week 6, 8. Until he starts doing really horrible.
The same guy. Pickett is Mitch. They're the same guy.
Yeah.
They're the same guy. Mitch is faster.
Mitch is bigger.
And it was bigger hands.
Yep. I was gonna say bigger hands too.
Yeah. So all right. Well, I don't know. I know there's a lot more teams that we're gonna cover.
You want to end it on our teams? I mean, not the Bears, but so you want to end it on the Falcons and Washington?
Yeah,
I want to end it with the Falcons and Washington.
Let's do that. Let's go Washington first.
I said, might as well do
Not
our
really,
teams.
to be honest. I was going to talk about that later, but sure, why not? Well, because honestly, I wanted to.
Oh, we can save that for our show too on Wednesday.
Well, Tuesday I'm gonna roast this dude because I'm gonna talk about Packers and the Bears. And
Well, that's what I
he
figured.
came
We
in
can save
here
that for Tuesday.
angry
but
as
I
hell
was-
on Sunday. But fine. And I think they did okay too. But Brian probably disagrees because
No, I think that they had it. They had so many roster spots open. They had to get lots and lots of guys, and that's why they kept on trading back. And I had no problem with that. I wish they would have got someone different at wide receiver.
Remember
Yeah,
when you said 20 would have gotten you Olave?
Mr.
Yeah, he
Olave.
would have 11.
I couldn't believe that. That run was crazy.
Oh, they got roasted for that pick, so I'm glad we didn't take him at 11.
All right. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, is he even a thing here this season
No,
at
he's
all? Like
He's a free
he
agent,
signed a
I think.
1-year deal. Heineke signed some for more years. Then they brought in Carson Wentz, which is essentially going to be their main guy. Terry McLaurin. I'm not sure if they're going to exercise his 5th year or not here. I don't know if they are or not. They did exercise Montez Sweat's 5th year, which is pretty cool. I like him there. But I did not hear about anything
Terry,
about.
they probably say, first we'll try to extend them. If we can't extend them, then we'll go ahead and trade them.
Yeah. So, but overall, that's just kind of what we've already know from the team. But that was before coming into the draft. Montez Sweat was actually like a day or two ago about that. I think just before the draft. So so they go into the draft. They have all 7 of their picks. Well, one of their 6 is a 5th, and one of their 6 is a 7th. I don't know which one, but they had 2 5ths and 2 7ths. The first pick was Jahan Dodson.
I like it.
Interesting. I like it, and I think that it'll be interesting to see with him and McLaurin. I'm surprised he went that high, though. I did not expect him to go that high. I thought he would have been later in the first round or potentially 2nd round, in my opinion. But look, if Washington, if the Commanders feel like Jahan Dotson's their number 2 receiver, then with Terry McLaurin, then by all means go get your guy. I'm the same way when it comes to my dynasty drafts. I'm gonna go get my guy. I feel better about getting my guy that I feel more comfortable tanking with because that was my decision. Mm-hmm. If that's the guy that they feel like is going to be their strong number 2, then hey, by all means, go for it. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Lockett is a good. I mean, like I said, like Dodson reminds me of Lockett. He's a good number 2. Mm-hmm. That's what he's going to be. He's going to be a good number 2, some reliable. Good ball skills, good deep threat. So I mean, and they traded back. So I mean, I'm not too mad. If you trade back and still want to go get your guy, go get your guy.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's fine. So they got the receiver. That's fine out of Penn State. Not too bad. I like him. And then with their second pick, they grabbed another defensive tackle, which I think
from Alabama.
Mark, you didn't like that?
It's not that I didn't like it, and I understand why we did it, but we have other needs like safety and linebacker. I'm like, why didn't we go that way?
Yeah, you had other holes to fill, and they went with the line, which arguably the line is already great. So why?
Yeah,
I know we drafted a safety later, but I don't even think we touched linebacker at all. So I don't know what we're doing with linebacker at this point.
I'm surprised. I think you guys are rolling out with the same ones. I don't think Davis.
This is.
I'm surprised Davis was not used as much as he was last year. And then they got a big bruiser, not an entirely big back. That will big in a way of they're going to use him a lot, but I think he's definitely going to be a vulture for Gibson's touchdowns, which is Brian Robinson,
also
out of
from
Alabama.
Bama. Yep.
So and again, as you were saying, Bama players are pretty good. And then they got a safety, Piercy Butler again.
Yep, he's not a starter.
Not bad, but
no, I think it was more depth. He's special teams. Well, I don't think after Bobby McCain and Cam Curl, we don't really have anybody, so he just adds a little bit of depth,
which is not bad. And then rotate the 3 out.
Yeah, and then the next 2 picks we got from the trade with the Saints, and they're absolute steals of the draft.
Which was
we got rated an A+ for day 3.
Everyone
and you know what? I like that. What you guys did there from
we took the trade down to get Dodson, and then we turned those picks into Sam Howell and Cole Turner.
Yes.
Like, who thought Sam Howell go in the 5th round?
I don't know. But you know what?
First pick of the 5th. First pick
I love that pick. Sam Howell is one of my favorites coming in. I think that he has great potential. Again, all these guys, in my opinion, are the same tier. So any of these guys can be great. Sam Howell is just one of my favorites. And then after
we have his
number
one weapon from his best college year,
and his arm talent. I mean, he's
Jelani Brown.
His problem is that he leaves left with nothing left. Like everyone else left, and he was the last one still there. Like, I'm gonna make these guys, these freshmen, great. No, that wasn't going to happen. But you put talent around him. He might be a guy who could be your starter. And Wentz falls and on his face, there we go.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a cowgirl. What a draft they had. No, I was kidding.
Yeah. So Cole Turner was the other 5th round pick, which Mark, you also liked. You liked him as your tight end from the Senior Bowl out of Nevada.
Yep.
Big dude, big monster. Should definitely learn under what's his face, Logan. And then you guys grabbed the Tulsa guard, Chris Paul, in the 7th round, and then
friends with Tony anymore. Apparently, he's a Giants fan.
Say what?
I don't know if I can be friends with Tony anymore. Apparently, he's a Giants fan.
Oh well, I'm sure you guys.
Or Tommy.
You and Tommy will make up on our Wednesday show, so you guys can have something to talk about during that time, because we'll probably go in more in depth during that time. So, Tommy, if you're watching either on the Nerd Huddle or Dynasty Pylon, we are on multiple channels as well. Not only are we on whichever one you're watching on. What's up?
No, Braden said, I don't know how Zappy.
There you go. Yeah. How did Zappy get drafted before?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Sense, guys. I was like, what?
Well, the Patriots' grade for their whole draft was a C+. So
yeah, I don't know.
Their draft.
They should go to F- for the first.
Dare I say strange?
So again, if you're watching today, you want to come back on Tuesday on this same on the Morning Spiker, which is the Nerd Huddle. We'll be doing Brian's Chicago Bears show down there, and then Wednesdays on a separate channel. That's myself and Mark here off to my left or your right. We do more Dynasty IDP style. So if Tommy, if you want to go there to Dynasty Pylon and argue with this guy and his Washington Commanders, feel free to, because I will love the entertainment. But yeah, that's and then we kind of go on as the season goes on. We are full-fledged mode now, for sure. I think once the summer starts kicking off, myself and Mark are no longer in school, so we kind of go on multiple times a week. And then Brian makes fun of us because we're on all the time.
Like every day, I'm like,
no.
New episode,
So yeah, so we'll end it with that with the Commanders with Cole Turner and Christian Holmes in their last pick, and then Chris Paul. So it wasn't bad. I like what the Commanders did. It's going to be interesting to see what they do offensively. Having those potentials there. So. But yeah, no. Again, to this, how in the world did it happen? I don't know. Zappy sucks, in my opinion. He has no arm. He's not. He's I don't know. And then he says facts, basically with Riverboat Ron. Since Cam Days and Commanders aren't a word for us for the Neil Beavers, Flat Robinson have new GM, head coach, DeBala offense coordinator, chief, and defense coordinator Winker with Raven. So, dude, look. Give this man some crap on Wednesday. I'm all for it. But that's Dynasty Pylon. Anyways, so anything else before? And Brian, thank you for holding your tongue because I know you want to talk about your Bears.
Well, it's okay. I didn't bring my whole notebook because I have like 8 pages of stuff of notes of what I've thought about every draft, every trade, what we're still going to do. I mean, there's so many free agents still out there, and that's what's interesting. So even though you talk about teams that don't have, like, they didn't get defensive tackles, but there's still defensive tackles out there. They're supposed to be good. We still have safeties out there. Tyrann Mathieu's still out there. So look at you get with your draft. Don't get too afraid. Don't be too upset, and realize that your team is still going to get some other guys.
Yeah.
Jerome Payne might be available.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's why a lot of people are saying we drafted the defensive tackle in the first round.
Yeah.
We're not keeping Payne.
But yeah, Tommy, if you do fantasy football, for sure, we're gonna get more into that. Today was just more of the recap of what happened in the draft. Now that all the positions are filled, basically, we can do more of that, especially our channel. That we focus more on that Dynasty stuff. God, I love Dynasty.
Good stuff.
It's a different game. I know Mark has been on a roller coaster ride because of his QB situations since we've started. But I think it's safe to say that you have Kyler Murray now as your main QB. So I'm in a weird situation with my receivers now. So yeah, we'll see. Anyways, that's it for today.
Can't believe he's not gonna talk about Desmond Ridder, but whatever.
Come on Wednesday. We'll talk about it.
I was going to talk about that Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I said, Wednesday.
I'm gonna give you a hard time. Just wait till Wednesday.
Are you coming on Wednesday, or you just gonna
probably
fireside chat?
Annoying you right on the side.
That's fine. I could just have. That's fine. I don't mind that. All right. Okay. Well, anyways, that's our show. This is the Morning Spike. Again, we will see you Tuesday. Talk about Brian's Bears, and then Wednesday on Dynasty Pylon, we'll talk about my Falcons and whatnot. And I will probably be surprisingly happy. I think.
Well, you're
not too sure.
You had a pretty good draft, so I'm okay with
Yeah,
it.
I would say so.
I'm not. I don't know. But anyways, all right. Let's end the show. That's it. The Morning Spike. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next Sunday on the Morning Spike. Later.